G'day, my name is Rathesh, and I'm a product manager on the Jira Software Cloud Roadmaps team. Thank you for tuning in today. If you're looking for an easy way to plan work, track progress, and manage dependencies within a single team, you've come to the right place. If you're looking to scale and master the complexities of planning across multiple teams and company-wide initiatives, you may want to check out our advanced roadmaps demo. Basic roadmaps, which we'll cover in this demo, started off as a simple way to quickly plan and visualize scoped work, such as epics on a timeline. It's since evolved, and I'd like to talk about some new and upcoming features. In a world with COVID, your travel plans may change. You need to have a view of where you're going to get the right travel requirements, make sure you have enough time between a PCR test and your flight, and you want flexibility to move around your bookings. This is no different from your typical software project. Why not get out of that spreadsheet and plan and track and manage your team's work, which is already in Jira? So I thought I'd start with 3 core challenges we're trying to solve with roadmaps. Firstly, visualizing a plan and progress. For a single software team, we know they need to either start creating their plan in one single view or get a picture of the current and most recent work being delivered. Secondly, tracking and managing project work items in a single place. We know that things change and change often, so it needs to be simple to adapt the plan. A team needs to easily track and monitor their project to quickly identify when they're off track to adjust the plan before it becomes a problem. And finally, communicate with reduced effort. Teams need to communicate to different teams and stakeholders on their priorities and progress, having to recreate their roadmap with every update. Now, this can lead to out-of-date or incomplete information with stakeholders, leading to misalignment and confusion. Now, roadmaps provides the connection to real-life data, a single source of truth within Jira, enabling visibility, shared focus, and communication throughout the course of the project. This makes it easy for your team to plan, work effectively against timelines and dependencies, keep track of progress and priorities, and share updates to ensure there is clear transparency when communicating with stakeholders. Now, we're going to go through how Roadmaps aims to solve 3 challenges we just outlined. First, plan. Roadmaps is great for getting a big picture view and tracking planned deliverables of a project or planning a project from scratch. A roadmap outlines the direction of a team's priorities and progress of a product or a project over time. For both new company managed and team managed projects and boards, roadmaps is enabled by default. If you are in a company managed project, which is a little older, you may find a board that will not have the roadmap available. So a board administrator must enable the roadmap. To do this in a company managed project, head to the board settings, click roadmap, and then enable the roadmap for your board. Once enabled, the roadmap becomes available in the sidebar. Now, if you don't see it within a team-managed project, a project administrator can enable it by clicking the project settings, then go down to features, where you can easily toggle the roadmap's feature on or off. A roadmap is organized around epics that represent larger chunks of work for a project, and all issues are in the context of the same project. So let's build a roadmap by creating 4 epics. For this example, due to all those travel plans that change, we're in a Kanban project where the team is within an airline company building a new portal for customers to make quick changes to their flight bookings. I can easily start typing to create the bigger chunks of work the team may need. After creation, you can see that the epics have an assigned issue number, showing that these are now created within Jira, reducing the effort required to create issues the standard way. To create a projected schedule for these epics, we can click on the timeline to map the schedule for the completion of the epics. The start and end points of each bar represent the start and due dates for the epic. If you have configured your project to show date fields, then you can also update the start and due dates on the issue itself, and the time bar will reflect this on the roadmap. Now, we're able to create issues within those epics directly from the roadmap, starting to break down and plan the work into child issues and select the issue types such as a story, bug, task, or one that was defined already in this project. Once created, you can expand or collapse the epic to see issues one level below. This allows teams working in Kanban to show story-level issues, providing a view of the scope of work required and high-level progress of an epic. This way, you can keep things high-level for an update on priorities, but if the team needs to quickly see the issues at a glance, they can easily expand the epic to see the overall planned items for that piece of work. We also know that not all teams work in a strict Agile framework and may have a mix of styles while they grow their Agile practice. We heard you, and we want to still provide the flexibility for your teams to visualize the progress of your project, so you can work more effectively with other teams in your organization. For an upcoming feature, we are planning to provide the ability for Kanban projects to schedule child issues on the timeline. As an example, as demonstrated with epics, we could create a projected schedule for a particular piece of work by clicking and dragging the timeline bar. This provides the flexibility to help your team plan work in Kanban when there are external constraints with time or resources. So watch out in the near future about a community post about the release of this Kanban feature. Now, I'd like to show an example of a team working in Scrum with a regular cadence of sprints. From the backlog, we can create and schedule some sprints so the team can start sprint planning. After the session, if the team has decided on bringing these issues into the scope of this sprint, then when we head back to the roadmap, we will see the scheduled sprints within the timeline header. Now, given we are working with Scrum, where a sprint can represent a team's delivery commitments for that time period, when we expand the epic, issues which have been assigned to sprints are automatically visualized to the length of the sprint. You can also drag and drop issues into a specific sprint if they've been scheduled already. If you do move an issue into an active sprint, it will let you know that the sprint scope will be changed, so you are aware that this could change the team's scope set in sprint plan. Here, Roadmaps makes planning as easy as possible by providing a different visual to how your team's work will be delivered across the planned sprints and time. It provides transparency to when the child issues are targeted to be delivered within your team sprint. Now, after breaking down the work during your planning sessions, if you and the team have identified a dependency between issues during a discussion or a grooming session, the roadmap can also visualize and directly create dependencies for the team within this project. If you have already created a critical dependency, the blocker will be visualized. You can click the line to view the dependency detail. You can create a dependency by dragging the endpoint of one issue to another, which will create a blocked issue link between the two issues and display a dependency line between them. You can also do this on the epic to further highlight any potential blockers on a higher level, which the team or stakeholders should be aware of. Now, when planning to visually differentiate the epics, we can assign certain colors to the bars on the roadmap. If we go back to the backlog, we can see that the child issues have been created and are visible. Also notice that the 4 new epics have been created with the epic labels on the child issues, which match the colors from the roadmap. Now, this is one way that your team can quickly scan the board or backlog to recognize issues from the epic based on a theme your team may have decided when planning, making it easy to find work. Next, we'll take a look at how you can track an in-flight project with roadmaps. Just as travel plans can experience delays and cancellations, project plans can oftentimes go off track. Roadmaps helps you track the progress of your projects and identify issues early to adapt the plan with the team. As work progresses, the roadmap automatically reflects ongoing progress as well as provides warnings if the project is at risk. The progress bar below the epic provides a general overview of the epic's progress based on the status of its child issues within the project. The bar shows how many story level issues are in to do, in progress, and done. If things are running behind schedule, this allows you to see the team's progress at a glance for this piece of work so the team can take action. Now, if a delay was not noticed in planning, or if there are delays on a particular issue, notice how the dependency link turns red when delays in the first epic block the second epic. This visualization alerts the team of a potential blocker before it actually becomes an issue. If any of your child issues begin or end outside of the Epic schedule, then a warning will appear to let you know of the situation. This can help drive the discussion to make sure that there is alignment between you, the team, and any stakeholder that may view the progress and estimated timeline of epics on the roadmap. Now, on a Scrum team, to make it even easier to keep your roadmap up to date, we've added the functionality to roll updates to the epic based on child issues. So when one of your team changes the dates of child issues, the epic will update to new dates accordingly. For Kanban, this visualization will be available with the upcoming release for planning with child issues, which I highlighted earlier. This means your roadmap stay up to date without any maintenance like you would need to do in a static spreadsheet. Now, if you're no longer in planning context and want to keep things visually simple for you, the team, or a stakeholder, you can toggle some of these views off by clicking View Settings, then unchecking the specific view. Here, when we uncheck Progress, the Epic Progress bar is no longer displayed. And the same can be done if you don't want to see the dependency lines. If you'd like to get a closer look at what has not yet been delivered on the project so far, once in View Settings, click Hide All Completed Epics. This will remove the epics which have been completed, helping you focus on what's remaining on the project. On the other hand, if you want to see a more recently completed work, then click the drop-down Show Epics Completed in the Last and select a time frame from 3, 6, 9, or 12 months. This can help you view and set a specific context for outward communication based on your team or organization needs. Finally, after the project has progressed, you may need to communicate with a different team or stakeholders to keep them informed. We'll now take a look at how roadmaps can help the team maintain transparency with communication of the team's priorities and progress. Once you have a plan, you can share this roadmap with stakeholders who want to know the latest items delivered on this project by clicking Share, where you can then send the roadmap view in an email directly with a complimentary message, or you can copy the link and paste it in your preferred medium. If you want your audience to see the roadmap with a particular context, such as don't show progress or show it in a quarterly view, then you can adjust the view settings you want and then click Share again. By doing this, the URL created here will hold the same view settings you applied. When the stakeholder accesses this URL, they will be taken to the live roadmap in Jira so you can communicate more effectively knowing they are seeing it from the same context as you. If your team uses Confluence, you can paste a smart link or URL directly in the page and the roadmap will be embedded as an interactive macro. Viewers of the Confluence page will not need to go into Jira to view the roadmap, and any updates your team makes in Jira will update on the Confluence page in real time. So you can relax knowing that there is no need to keep manually updating your Confluence page when things change in Jira, especially knowing the speed of some teams today. However, if you'd rather have a snapshot of the roadmap at a given point in time or share with your peers who may not be licensed Jira users, you can export a PNG image. Within the export modal, you can select your timeline view between weeks, months, quarters, and then specify a date range within 12 months of each other. Now you can easily insert this into your next slide deck, doc, or email. The Roadmaps has you covered to help you control the communication with your stakeholder about your team's plan, priorities, and progress. So what's next? As I demonstrated earlier, we'll have story-level planning, which will allow Kanban users to schedule story-level issues on the timeline. Secondly, we know agile software development is all about getting incremental value to your customers. So we want to make sure that your team is aware of any upcoming project releases so that work can be planned and tracked accordingly. Soon, if you have releases set up with release dates, these will be visualized on the timeline where you can view all issues within a specific release of your choice within the project. In addition to showing the release, we want to help by highlighting if any items which may extend beyond the planned release date, so you can quickly adapt the plan and work towards getting your team's hard work in front of customers as soon as possible. I hope this demo has been helpful in showing how you and your team can plan work efficiently, and most importantly, keep your project on track and your stakeholders in the loop. Unlike traveling during COVID, where plans can sometimes be postponed or cancelled indefinitely, roadmaps can help ensure your team reaches their end goal, staying aligned and informed along the way. Best of all, it's free to use. Simply sign up for Jira Software to start using roadmaps today. We know some of you may be planning across multiple teams and projects and have more complexity. My teammate Rohan has you covered in the advanced roadmaps demo. And lastly, if you're attending our in-person experience in Las Vegas, be sure to visit the Jira Software booth in the expo to learn more. Thank you.